Forever Evil #1, written by Jeff Johns, art by David Finch, the big universe-spanning thing that they credited as the first in the New 52, despite the fact that we just wrapped up with Trinity War, which I feel like was credited as the same thing. So going into this, all you need to know is that Trinity War happened, Pandora's box was opened, and inside of it was actually a doorway to Earth 3, which is where the crime syndicate was. And they came out and took on the Justice League. So, picking up here, we deal with Lex Luthor. And he's monologuing, talking about, like, yeah, you know, one time I tried to save a cat. It scratched me, and I threw it into the river. And we see that he's talking to a businessman named Thomas Cord, and he's basically flying in a helicopter with him and saying, hey, sell me your company. I want to do some stuff with it. And Thomas is like, no, it's my family's company and I'm going to give it to my son one day. And he's like, oh, cool. I have the ability to ruin your life and kill you and make all of your family go destitute and addicted to drugs. And that's just something I'll do for fun if you don't give me this company. And he's just like, are you serious right now? What the hell is wrong with you? He's just like, hey, accidents happen. I mean, you just might end up dead one day. That's all I'm saying. And then all of a sudden, something goes wrong with the helicopter. And they lose control. It's like a big EMP or something's going off. And they end up crashing into Lex Tower. And they're pretty much right up at the roof, so they get up, they walk over. And we see on Lex's phone and a whole bunch of computers, the words, "The world is ours," just appear over top of it. And we see that this is all the responsibility of Grid, who is the robotic half of Cyborg that split off and became his own guy. And he's like, yep, I've taken off Metropolis. It's gone off grid. Next is Gotham. So he's working on that. We see Nightwing is leaping through Gotham, and he's got Zaz back, and he's talking to Barbara and basically saying, like, hey, you know, things have been kind of weird since I moved to Chicago, and now I'm back, so how about we go sit up and talk to Bruce? And Barbara's like, yeah, sounds like a good idea. And then all of a sudden, same sort of thing happens, a big EMP. Says the world is ours. And Nightwing, he's next to Arkham Asylum, so he's like, okay, well, if something weird's going on and I'm right outside of Arkham, I better go check on what it is. And also he sees outside the door a woman in shadow that just rips the doors off the hinges. And he's like, yeah, that's something weird happening. So he storms in, but then is immediately beaten up by someone again in shadow. And he's like, huh, you look familiar. What's his name on this planet? Another voice is like, oh, they call him Nightwing here. And it's like, that's a stupid name. And so they grab him by the neck with a golden lasso and drag him away. So back to Lex. He's up on top of the LexCorp building. We see Thomas Cord is dangling off the edge of the building begging for help. And Lex is like, all right, fine, yeah, sure. Hold your horses. I'll be over in a sec. And as he does so, he sees what he thinks is Superman bust out of a building and fly into the LexCorp tower, causing Thomas to plunge to his death. And we see this Superman is X-ray visioning all over until finally he comes across a piece of kryptonite. And Lex is like, what in the hell is he doing? And we cut to Central City, where the Rogues are currently trying to get out of Iron Heights. And Captain Cold's like, oh, I think I can do it with my cold powers. And then I want to call him Heatwave, but I don't think that's right. He's like, oh, stand aside. I can do it. I can melt it with my thing. It is Heatwave. Yeah, sure. So at that point, they basically say, yeah, the Rogues stick together no matter what. We're going to go pick up Trickster because he deserves to be saved or whatever. So then we see someone that looks like the Flash goes into the building, but of course it's not the Flash. It's Johnny Quick. He busts in and he just starts ripping these guards to shreds, like atomically bad. So at that point, Captain Cold's like, I don't think that was the Flash, guys. Then we're in Belle Reve, and Amanda Waller is talking to Black Manta saying, hey, you want to join the Suicide Squad? And he's like, I only care about Aquaman, and I know your Suicide Squad thing is a scam. You don't actually ever let him go. So, no. And Amanda's like, is there anything I can offer you to say yes, maybe? He's like, the only thing I want is to kill Aquaman. And at that point, a hole opens up in the roof, and in comes Deathstorm and Power Ring, who are Firestorm and Green Lantern equivalents. And they're just like, yeah, no, we've still got dozens of prisons to free up, but we just got to take over Belle Reve real quick. So Cut back to Lex watching Ultraman, not Superman, grind up the kryptonite, heat vision it, and then snort it. And he's like, oh god, yes, that's the good stuff. So he flies out, and he tells Grid, find every other piece of kryptonite on this planet, tell no one. And we see the message saying this world is ours keeps popping up. So back in Arkham, Scarecrow is going around to all of Batman's rogues gallery, Poison Ivy, Mr. Freeze, Riddler, and Two-Face, saying, hey, guys, I'm part of this secret society now, and they're gonna have this big meeting. Everyone gets these super special coins. You guys should all join. It's super cool. Batman and the Justice League, they can't stop them. We're totally invincible as long as we're with them. And everyone's just like, I don't know. Scarecrow's kind of stupid. Should we be listening to this? And Two-Face is like, I'm of two minds about it. So we go finally to Happy Harbor, which is where the Justice League's watchtower crashed like 4 issues ago in Justice League. And everyone's gathered around as we see the crime syndicate standing on one of the platforms and just talking to like every villain saying, hey, we run the world now. It belongs to us. And everyone is looking up like, what? What's going on? They're all talking amongst each other. And we see that, it's basically just a whole bunch of tiny little conversations of the villains saying like, oh, is this a trap? Like, is the Justice League going to show up? Where the hell's Batman? I feel like Joker's somewhere in this crowd and he's going to cause his own problems. Until finally the crime syndicate starts throwing down the Justice League's like trinkets. Like the first thing that hits the ground is Aquaman's trident, and Black Manta's immediately like, this is mine. No one is taking this. This is mine now. Wonder Woman's lasso, Superman's cape, all of it shows up, and the crime syndicate just restates like, ahem, everyone, the Justice League is dead. We now run the world. So here's what's going to happen, and he introduces everybody: Owlman, Ultraman, Superwoman, Power Ring, Deathstorm, Johnny Quick, and Atomica. And he basically says, we're the crime syndicate. We destroyed our own world. We've come to this one. We're going to take it over as well. Crime now rules everything. And a guy named Monocle is out in the audience. He's like, this is stupid. That's clearly Superman. He looks just like Superman. This is a trap. They're just trapping all of us. And then Ultraman just super heat visions him to death. And he's like, anybody else want to question us? And they're like, no, we're good. So at this point, Superwoman pulls out Nightwing, who's still tied up and bound. And he's like, in order to prove that we mean business, we're going to unmask Nightwing. He is actually, and takes off the mask, Dick Grayson. And then Lex Luthor, who's watching this, is like, who the hell is Dick Grayson? So they also put up his driver's license, his social security card, and a bunch of relevant news articles regarding the death of the Flying Graysons. And it's like, oh yeah, no, he got full on doxxed. Like, Dick Grayson's identity is no more. So he's like, yeah, Grayson has many friends in the hero industry. None of them are welcome anymore. Take this as your warning. So at that point, Ultraman points out, all right, all you villains here, you can all join our secret society. Our whole thing is that we believe in strength and power. If you're weak, then you will not be able to live. So go out, be strong, do things. And we see them basically just going out throughout the world and causing problems. And at this point, the sun starts rising, and of course, Ultraman, being the opposite, is weak to the sun. So he's like, oh, geez, okay, hold on, I gotta go deal with that real quick. So he flies off in the sky, and we see him pushing the moon in front of the sun to cause a perpetual eclipse. And Lex Luthor, sitting back watching this, thinking again about, hey, I saved the cat that one time. He looks up at this perpetual eclipse and he says, this looks like a job for Superman. So where the hell is he? And that's the issue. Hell of a first issue, I'll give it that. It's a big start. Obviously, at no point yet have we actually seen how the Justice League was defeated. It happened kind of in between issues of the last issue of Justice League to now. I feel like we're going to get that backstory filled in, because otherwise it's going to feel like, how did they manage to do that? Beyond that, I mean, it does a good job of setting up this idea of this is a universe-wide event. It is a big deal, but I'm a little bit iffy because a lot of characters that they have in this crowd scene don't make any sense that they're here. For instance, Grodd, he's a problem because he's trapped in the Speed Force in terms of like current continuity. There's just a couple little things like that where it's like, this doesn't really make any sense this is happening, but I'm sure it'll get explained. Obviously, the entire point of the first month of this is all Villains Month tie-ins, where we're seeing how each of these villains either came to be or came to be working with the Secret Society. So either way, I'm intrigued. I want to see how this goes. Obviously, it's the first big event. It's a big deal. But as for this issue, I gotta say the art is not quite what I like. I don't feel like David Finch had enough time to really make it feel great. It was just a little bit off the whole way through. So I'm probably going to end up giving this one just I'm going to give it a 7. It's not fantastic. It's a lot of moving parts. It's a lot of setting things up. And I don't like the art that much. So I'm just going to give it a flat 7. Still good. Still, like, the writing itself is good. But I'm waiting for it to get to the point where it becomes great. So we'll see what happens down the road.